को दिखाने के लिए। क्यों? वो सोचते हैं कि कभी हमने लूटा था, आज ये लूट रहे हैं और आगे चलकर कभी फिर हम लूटेंगे, तो हम दोनों लुटेरे भाई भाई हैं, हम क्यों इस पर बोले। जनता को बरगलाए रखो, हम मां में सारे के सारे नंगे हैं। एक कितने बड़े ताज्जुब की बात है, इस मुल्क में एक अभी खेल हुआ नेशनल वो कॉमनवेल्थ गेम। आप ताज्जुब करिए कि एक फ्रिज 4,500 रुपए का, छोटा फ्रिज 4,500 रुपए का आता है। उस फ्रिज को इन लोगों ने 30 दिन के लिए 45,000 रुपए किराए पे लिया। 4,500 रुपए के फ्रिज का 30 दिन का किराया 45,000। यानी अगर ये खरीद लेते और 30 दिन बाद उसको बेचते तो कबाड़ में 2,000 का बिक जाता, केवल 3,500 लगता, उसके लिए 45,000 खर्च किया। ये एक मिसाल है, इतनी लूट चल रही है इस देश में। तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि हम लोगों को इस दिशा में सोचना चाहिए। ये कोई राजनीति की बात नहीं है, इंसानियत का गला घोटा जा रहा है। इस देश में गरीब गरीब होता चला जा रहा है, अमीर अमीर होता चला जा रहा है, क्योंकि लोगों को अल्लाह का डर नहीं है, परमेश्वर का डर नहीं है। तो हर चीज का एक ही विकल्प है, अल्लाह का डर। जिस दिन परमेश्वर का डर हो जाएगा, उस दिन सारी की सारी चीजें सब अपने आप अच्छी हो जाएंगी। और ये नेता क्यों कहते हैं धार्मिक लोगों को कि धार्मिक लोगों का काम है धर्म का काम करना, इनको राजनीति में नहीं आना चाहिए। क्यों नहीं आना चाहिए? कि अगर धार्मिक लोग राजनीति में आ जाएंगे तो इन लोगों की छुट्टी हो जाएगी, राजनीति अच्छी हो जाएगी, ये गंदे लोग चले जाएंगे। इसलिए जब देखो तब स्लोगन उछालते रहते हैं। इनका क्या काम है? ये अपना धर्म कर्म करें, ये राजनीति इनका काम नहीं है। राजनीति क्या तुम्ही लुटेरों का काम है? राजनीति तब मर्यादित होगी जब इसमें धर्म का हस्तक्षेप होगा, चाहे वो इस्लाम हो या कोई भी सत्य धर्म हो। उसके द्वारा जब ये चलेगा तभी ये जो है ये धर्म ये देश सुधरेगा और एक स्वच्छ राजनीति, एक स्वच्छ देश बनेगा। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ हम परमेश्वर से प्रार्थना करते हैं कि ऐसे लोगों को सद्बुद्धि दे, हम सबको रास्ता दिखाए।
All the rulers came around, demolished temples.
Temple destruction.
And who destroyed Somnath temple? Muhammad Ghazni. He comes from Ghazna. Ghazna is in Afghanistan. This is Ghazna. This is Bamiyan. This is Multan. And this is Somnath. So this is a route taken by Muhammad Ghaznavi to reach the Somnath temple. Now in this 5,000 kilometer route, how much area there must have been a spread of Hindu religion? 2,000 kilometers. Now in 1 kilometer area where Hindu religion is spread, generally how many temples are there? Should we compromise at 5? 5, okay. So we compromise that it is at 5. So how much was the distance we had talked about? 2,000 kilometers and 5 temples per kilometer. So how many total temples are there on the way when Ghazni is traveling? 10,000 temples. Now, of course, I forgot to ask you a very elementary question. Did Ghazni come by air route? No. He must have travelled on this thing.
So no Pushpak Viman that thing.
Right, no Pushpak Viman for Muslims. It was there only in our mythology. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, so he travelled this area and on his way he saw the great statues of Lord Gautam Buddha in Bamiyan. Did he break these Lord Gautam Buddha's statues? No. Or did he think that Taliban fools are going to come later and they will destroy? Did he have intuition? No. Still he did not break. No. Did he destroy the 10,000 temples on the way? No. Why? If he had to insult the Hindu religion in order to go to heaven, right? That's how our temperature, the temperature of our blood goes up, na? That he came, he destroyed our temple, he insulted our Hindu religion. Now, if he had to insult Hindu religion, he could have destroyed any 4 or 5 temples on the way in the beginning and would have gone back. Why he had to come all the way to Somnath? Now, here comes the clue that in Somnath temple that time there were 20,000 golden dinars. When Muhammad Ghaznavi came here, he had an army, and in his army 35% of the soldiers were Hindu. In his army there were 12 generals. There were 12 generals in his armies, and out of these 12 generals, 5 of those generals were Hindus. Their names were Tilak, Sondhi, Arjan, Ran and Hind. So it was a mixed army of Hindus and Muslims which came and destroyed Somnath temple, and many communal groups here. They try to project Ghaznavi as a great Muslim ruler, right? Now, if he was a great Muslim ruler, do you think he would have destroyed a mosque somewhere? No. Now, Multan I have drawn purposely because when he was coming from Ghazna to Somnath, on way, he had to pass through Multan. And in Multan that time there was a Muslim ruler, his name was Abdul Fath Dawood. So when Muhammad Ghaznavi asked Abdul Fath Dawood whether I can come through your territory or not, Abdul Fath Dawood said, you are not permitted to pass into my territory. And on this issue, both these Muslim kings fought, and as a result of their battle, the Jama Masjid of Multan got decimated. So the same person who goes and destroys a temple in Somnath has to destroy a mosque right in the way, right in the beginning. Now there is another Hindu king, his name was Raja Harshdev. He was ruling in Kashmir in 11th century. And this point which I am telling you is from a book called Raj Tarangini by poet called Kalhan. Kalhan in his book mentions that this Raja Harsh, during his tenure, he created a new designation, and the name of this designation was Devot Patan Nayak, an officer who uproots the idols of God. And who's doing this? This is being done by a Hindu king. But remember, there is a unwritten clause there that don't destroy the statues made of stone. You have also only to uproot the statues which are made of gold and silver. In medieval times, many kings destroyed temples, mosques and churches. And they did this on selective basis. Only those temples, mosques and churches were destroyed which had a huge repository of wealth. Here I must point out that it was not only medieval times. Even current times, last month I read a news item in our Bombay papers. I don't know whether you read it or not. There is a very famous temple there called Siddhi Vinayak Temple. Siddhi Vinayak Temple has a wealth of around 150 crores. Mouth-watering wealth of 150 crores. And there are two groups which are competing with each other as to which group can corner more money out of that. And here also I read other day that Tirupati Balaji Temple, its wealth is so much that every year it earns 200 crores out of mere interest of the money. Who was the most cruel, bad and the worst king who ruled this part of the world? Aurangzeb? Very correct. Aurangzeb we regard as one of the worst kings who has ruled this part of the country. Look at Aurangzeb as to what type of king was he. I have no sympathies for Aurangzeb, let me be very clear. We'll see his life, whether he ruled for religion or whether something else dictated his life. Now, to begin with, once the Nawab of Golconda, his name was Tana Shah. Tana Shah did not pay tribute to Aurangzeb for 3 consecutive years. And he said that there is a problem in his country, there is no proper crops, so people do not have money to give the tribute. Now Aurangzeb was very clever. He sent his spies to find out as to where is the wealth of Tana Shah. They found out that Tana Shah has hidden his wealth under a mosque in Golconda. Aurangzeb sent his army to destroy the mosque and to take away the wealth to his treasury in Delhi. So those people who think that Aurangzeb was a great Muslim king and an anti-Hindu king just have to think a bit about him. Now second episode about Aurangzeb, this I am quoting from a book, Feathers and Stone by Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. Now once Aurangzeb was going from Delhi to Calcutta, and in his entourage there were 44 Hindu kings. Does it ring some bell? Aurangzeb, most cruel, most anti-Hindu king, and there are 44 Hindu kings in his entourage. Okay. Now, here I can ask you that do you know the Navratnas of Akbar's court? Can you tell me some Hindu names from that? Tansen, Birbal, right? So Muslim kings and Hindu officials. I must tell you that Mughal kings did not disturb the social structure of this country. Number one, please remember. Now I can again ask you another KBC type question. The British came here, they plundered the wealth from here. Where did they take it? To England. Simple, right? Now the KBC comes. Where did the Muslim kings take away the wealth of this country? Makkah, Medina, Tehran or Kabul? Nowhere, right? So they did not take away the wealth from this country. They lived here, died here, and all whatever they did was located around here. So can you see the difference between Mughal kings, Mughal rule and the British rule? Can you see the rule? Right? Some people, their temperature boils, their blood boils whenever the Muslim kings are mentioned. By and large, they are quiet about the British rule. I don't know the reason. This is a homework for you to find out. Those who shout very much against the terrorism, against the Mughal rule, the Muslim rules, by and large, they will keep quiet about George Bush, British rule, etc., etc. That's of course an incidental point. Coming back to Aurangzeb,